Hello and welcome to another tutorial on how to make a game in XNA. And in this tutorial we're going to continue working on our map reader. I know it's taking a long time, but things like this do take a long time. So let's persevere and continue to make this. So this will basically add all our objects to our string array. And what we're going to do now is return that array. So just say return string array dot to array. So right now you might be wondering why I have to call this method called to array, and that's because our string array variable is actually not really an array, it's a list. And the reason why we have a list is because arrays you have to define what's the maximum amount that array can handle. So that's because your computer has to allocate that much memory, and if you keep adding stuff onto there, it has to keep reallocating memory, and that's exactly what a list does. So a list is basically like an array, except it has certain nice methods and stuff that allow you to easily perform more complicated things. So that's basically what our split object method. So let's minimize that and make our create object. Create all objects. So we'll name this public void create all objects, and we'll make this take in a string array. Excuse me. And basically we're going to loop through this whole array. So I'm going to use the for each thing, hold down tab to automatically generate the code, and I'm going to tab through to our variable, and it's going to be a string. So type in string, and our item name will just be S, and it's going to be in the collection of string array. So that's the collection we are going to be looking at. So that's basically that. Why is it giving us an error? Oh, because it doesn't return anything. Oh yeah, actually let's tie this all together in a try catch block. So try catch exception E, and it's just going to return false, and then this will return true. And the reason I'm having this is because this is very prone to errors, because if you mess up with the path name or anything like this, everything can go wrong, and we don't want the game crashing on the user. So that's why we have it tied in with a try catch block, and returns a boolean, and it returns true if it works and returns false if it didn't. So it can easily tell the user if it worked or it didn't. So it makes it user friendly. So back to our creating all objects method. So after we're looping through all the strings, we want to create a new object. So we are basically going to replicate exactly what we're doing in our items thing, is add something to our object list, and we're going to create a new method called create object. And what that's going to do is basically we can pass in a string, and it's object string, and it's going to create a new single object from that string. So we're basically going to just say create object, and we're going to pass in S. So to create another method, I know it's a lot of methods, call it create. Actually, it's only 3, so it's not that bad. And which pass in an argument called S in our create object method or subroutine. It doesn't return a value, but I just call it methods. Sorry, I do that interchangeably. So in our create object method, what we want to do is we want to parse the string again and get all its attributes. So we want to get this attribute, and this attribute. So let's create yet another function to do that. So but I'm not going to create that yet. So I'll first create a new string called can't have that. Call it underscore class. And the reason I have that is because class, just like string, is a keyword, and we can't use that as an actual name. So that's what I'm doing. So just create a string y2. So we have string class, string x, and string y. Actually, we want these ints. Actually, let's just have them as ints. There we go. Class is equal to get attribute from s, and the attribute's name will be equal to class. And we haven't created this attributes method yet, but we will in the near future. And this is basically how it's going to work. We're going to pass in the object string, and we're going to pass in the attribute name. And what our method is going to do is it's going to take this string, our object string, find that attribute, and then find its value, and then return the value. So let's make our get attribute method now. So public void get attribute string object string, and then string attribute string. Okay, so that's basically that. That's all the variables we need. And then, oops, actually it's not a void. It returns a string value, remember. So now we need string, make a new variable called string output. And we need to now parse this object string. So make an integer, call it position, just like how we were doing before. We have to call index of. So position equals object string dot index of, and it's going to be the attribute string plus the equal sign and a quotation mark. So that's going to be it. And the reason I have the slash here is because whenever you have a slash before a string, it means it's called an escape character, and basically means, you know how, like, if I were to try to put a quotation mark inside a string, you see it's not working out. It's syntactically incorrect because look, I have an extra quotation mark, and it tells the compiler that whatever is in between the quotation marks is a string, and we don't want that. We will actually want the actual quotation mark to be a string. So to do that, it's called an escape character. We put a a slash behind it, and it tells it we don't want the compiler to read that as something to read. We want it to just be read as a string inside of that. So that's basically what that does. So we're going to search for the attribute name plus an equal sign plus a quotation mark. So it's going to find that, and if it does, if position does not equal -1, this is what it's going to do. Well, let's think of this. What would it do? Well, it would find the starting position, which would be the position plus the string length of the attribute name plus the equal sign plus the quotation mark. So that would be the starting screen, and then the ending thing would be the index of this quotation mark right here, and you would of course start from your starting position. So let's make another integer called start, and this will be equal to index to object string dot index of. Actually, start just equals position. Forgot. And then int end position is equal to object string dot index of, and then it's going to just equal. We want to find the quotation mark, and it's going to start where start is plus 1, and length will equal start end minus, end plus 1 minus start. Okay, and we want it to return the value in between. So we want it to return object string dot substring. The start would be start, of course, and the length would be length. And so that would be that. Actually, let's create an else statement because it has to return something somewhere. So we'll just return a blank string. So there we go. And get rid of this variable right here. And as you can see, we're still getting errors, and that's because we're trying to make an integer equal to a string, and of course that won't work. So this is how we're going to fix that. We're going to say convert.to integer 16. I should just make it 32 just to be safe. The bigger number means the more memory is allocated for that variable. So the bigger numbers, so it can handle bigger numbers. So if there's bigger numbers, it won't crash, basically. So that's the beginning of our create object class. We still have a little bit of work to do, except we're running out of time in this tutorial, so we're going to continue it in the next tutorial. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a rating and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next tutorial. Thank you. Bye.